I have had the privilege of knowing Sandra for 28 years, mostly because I didn't have a choice, but also because she is the kind of sister you feel lucky to grow up with. One of my favorite memories is when we lived together in the Bay Area. We laughed and made so many memories. But she also quietly helped mold me into a more responsible young adult. It was my first time away from home, and Sandra had this way of balancing freedom with accountability, fun with focus. That's the kind of sister she has always been. The person who cheers you on and shows you how to walk the path at the same time. Then came David. Sandra has always been incredibly intellectual, but I never imagined she would find someone who could keep up with her. Until our first dinner together. About 10 minutes in, I realized I didn't understand anything they were talking about, and probably should have brought my high school physics book. That's when I knew she had met her match. David is creative, smart, adventurous, funny, and yes, the man that loves a good spreadsheet.
Happy wedding day. I am so lucky that I am marrying a man like you. You have been my rock and my best friend. I have never felt so loved. You gladden my heart and bring me peace of mind. I know that I can always count on you to do right by me. I promise to always stand up for you. I will always be a home you can come to when you need it most. I still remember our first date and how excited I was to meet you. I knew that when you brought out the binoculars, that you were the one for me. You embrace who you are with confidence. This is one of my favorite traits about you. I pray to God that we may always push each other to grow and that we may create a house full of joy and love. I love you more than I can ever describe. Love, your wife.
When you call me, I am listening.
I know Sandra will be someone just as great to share a Carvel ice cream cake with and lick the plate clean no matter how old you get, just like what we used to do and probably what we would do till this day. I love you both so much. Congratulations to you both and congratulations to me for gaining a new sister.
Hey. Thank you. Thank you guys.
Very nice.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
That was okay. Thank you. I have little presents for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
And this is for you
Yeah.
guys.
Since you have been present at this blessed time before the sanctuary of the Lord of hosts and his holy altar, and this Orthodox gathering, you have been joined by this blessed marriage and holy crowning. According to this rite and this law, so also the rest of the fathers the believers took one wife in purity and cleanness for the sake of descendants and childbearing. So you should know each other's rights and submit yourselves to one another. Let each of you be faithful to the other according to our teacher St. Paul, the apostle. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but her husband does. And likewise the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does.
And you, blessed daughter Sandra, and happy bride, you have heard what was commanded of your husband. So you are required to honor and respect him. Do not act against his opinion, but submit to him many times over what was commanded. For today you are alone with him, and he is responsible for you instead of your parents. So you must receive him with joy and cheer. Do not frown in his face. Do not neglect any of his rights upon you, and fear God in all matters with him, because God commanded you to submit to him and ordered you to obey him as your parents. So be with him as your mother Sarah was obedient to our father Abraham and used to address him, my Lord. Thus God looked upon her obedience to him, blessed her, gave her Isaac in her old age, and made her offspring as the stars of heaven and the sand on the shore and seashore. As you listen to what we commanded you to do, the Lord will take your hand, increase your livelihood, and blessings will descend upon your home, and he will grant you blessed children by whom God will delight your eyes.
Feels like summer, dry away through windows down. It hits like thunder, I can barely speak now. This is something I didn't know could exist outside the notice. I've been wondering if we could stay in this bliss as a new thing.
I have always wished to follow in her footsteps, and she has always been my guidance. She's always been someone that's very humble and very kind. She's always been smart and determined, and I can always still have fun with her. She has been my protector. She's always had my back when I was in need of help, whether it was words of motivations I needed or a little quick $20, or helping me navigate difficult decisions and situations. She's always been there to have my back.
The days are burning, I don't know what the future holds.
David is a man of unmatched intelligence, boundless energy, and, let's be honest, chaotic enthusiasm. He's the kind of guy who could have you laughing hysterically one moment and then wondering why you're talking about Python syntax for the last 2.5 hours. He's athletic, yes, I hate to admit it, he's one of the best players in our Frisbee group, but also shockingly clumsy. I've seen him trip over things that weren't even there. He's the only man that could turn a game of catch into a workplace injuries report. But beyond all that, he's the man who cares deeply, who listens, who somehow makes every conversation feel like it matters, even if it's about JavaScript. Sandra is the calm to David's storm, the grounding wire to his high-voltage brain. She reins in the chaos, channels his ADHD into charm, and filters those intrusive thoughts. Since she came to his life, there's been a noticeable change. David smiles more, laughs more, and for the first time, talks about someone else being awesome, so much fun, and the best. Usually that's me he's talking about, but in this case, now it's all about Sandra. She doesn't just balance him, she amplifies him, making all that energy, intelligence, warmth shine in the best way possible.
The days are burning. I don't know what the future holds, but I've been learning some things just never get old. Now I am certain you're what I want, you're what I need. Oh, I want to scream it from the rooftops. Will you be the moonlight dancing in the sky? Will you be the hand that I'm holding by my side? Will you be the days I'm gonna remember, always forever? Will you be the North Star shining in the night? Will you be the name that's taking all my time? Will you be the days I'm gonna remember, always forever, always forever?
Sandra has also been there for me in tough moments as well. Back in college in 2015, I got the news that my grandfather was dying. He was 3 hours away and I had no car. I wanted to take the train, but I wouldn't make it on time. So Sandra told me, here's what's happening. Here's the car, get in, we are going, I'll drive you, let's go. I said only if she promised she would stay over and she didn't have anything going on the next day. She promised. But when we got there, she informed me that she would not be staying over because she lied and she had class the next day. So she had to go. But that's just who Sandra is. The person you call when you don't know what to do, who will drop everything on a dime for you, even when that means dropping everything. Even when it means driving 6 hours so you can be with your family, even when it is impractical and inconvenient for her. She will go out of her way to show up for you. So David, the one thing we ask of you is that you will show up for Sandra every day the way that she has shown up for us. That you will continue to choose her and pursue her with the level of intentionality that made us think that you were a catfish.
Safe place for me to remember all the brilliant things, brushstroke skies tucked behind cityscapes.
And almost immediately, I could tell Sandra was different. His eyes would light up. Every conversation was full of compliments, gratitude, and the quiet certainty that he'd found something extraordinary. Sandra, I haven't known you very long, but what strikes me most is how beautifully you compliment David. You're so gracious, mature, and intelligent, and as your parents so perfectly put it, extraordinarily patient. David is eccentric, and you fully indulge while staying true to yourself. You both prioritize open communication and trust, and you're on the same emotional wavelength, excited to live life to the fullest together.
I forget I wasn't listening.
You guys really have no idea how hard it was to convince everyone else that that was a good idea. The T-Rexes, no one believed in that. No one. Thank you all for leaning into that as hard as you did in the cardboard cutouts and all of that. I think it's tremendously fun. I can't tell you how grateful I am to have found her, and those of you who know me and knew how excited I was to find someone like that. It is a dream come true, and I'm very much in love with the wife that I now have. So
I'm so lucky to be his wife. He really wears his heart on his sleeve, and a lot of times I tell him that he's an oversharer, but I think that's just because he has so much joy and love and is so curious and just loves sharing that with everyone else, which I think is a very unique trait. So I'm very lucky to be standing by his side. And then to all my friends from California, thank you so much for traveling. I know you took a lot of overnight flights and still made it here, so I really appreciate that. And then to my parents, I love you very much. You mean the world to me. And to David's parents, thank you for raising a wonderful son.